What's up, guys? It's Sturch, and today I've got something super special for you guys. Today I'm going to be breaking down the 5 worst foods you can put in your body for recovery as a cyclist and why they're so harmful to your training and adaptations if you do decide to eat them. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly which foods are slowing down your recovery, what to eat instead. And on top of that, I'm going to show you how these changes will help you bounce back faster, feel stronger, and actually dominate in your group rides and start winning races. So if you stay until the end of this video, you'll know the exact swaps that I made that took me from always feeling drained to having fresh legs even a day after I had an extremely hard workout. And for those of you that don't know who I am, I literally went from your average cyclist finishing mid-pack, back of the pack, getting dropped as a Cat 5, maybe an occasional top 10, to a cyclist who's won back-to-back-to-back races, which is 3 races. And I've hit 5 watts per kilo FTP after only cycling for a little bit over 1 year, which that puts me in the 95th percentile of all cyclists. And I did all this just by changing my nutrition and lifestyle. So about a year ago, when I did decide to make these changes, I decided that the modern cycling diet and lifestyle wasn't working for me. And I actually wanted to get better and start winning races and stop aiming for top 10s or not getting dropped in Cat 5. These 5 foods were the first things that I cut out of my diet, and they became a non-negotiable that I would never eat them. So 0. And if you actually apply what I'm about to tell you, your body will thank you, your legs will come back, and your race-paced group rides will start to feel like zone 2, and you'll actually be winning races. So let's get into the video without further ado. The first food I want to talk about today is refined grains. All right. So that is going to be food number 1 if I can get to it. Refined grains is rice, cereal, pasta, bread. Now, the first thing that we need to understand about refined grains is that since they are heavily processed and refined, they are stripped of all micronutrients. And what that means is you're practically just consuming empty carbs with not a single other nutrient, which is not what we want to do as cyclists, because as a cyclist, we need more vitamins and minerals than most humans on this earth. And we need to make sure that all of our foods are micronutrient dense. So we're getting all the proper vitamins and minerals that we need for our body to be able to function as efficiently and as effectively as possible. And on top of that, these grains are highly contaminated with glyphosate. And if you don't know what glyphosate is, it's a pesticide that's the active ingredient in Roundup. Roundup, which literally kills a ton of stuff. And what that does is it disrupts your gut lining, which means you have worse nutrient absorption, which is terrible for cyclists because your goal as a cyclist should be able to absorb as much of the food as you put into your body as possible. You want to absorb all the nutrients. You don't want to eat a bread and have your gut so inflamed and so messed up that you only absorb 50% of the carbs, even though we're not going to be eating bread. That was a bad example. Now, third, refined grains are digested faster than table sugar, literally faster than sugar itself, which is kind of insane to me, but it's true. And that means when you eat these things, it spikes your blood sugar and then there's a crash followed by it later. And the problem with refined grains is I know most cyclists love to eat these. They love bagels. They love cereal for breakfast. And the problem is the first thing you're doing in the morning is spiking your blood sugar, and then you're going to crash and you're going to have no energy. And right around that time when you have no energy is when you're going to go on a ride. And then you're going to have no energy on your ride and your ride's going to be terrible. So we don't want to do that. And then finally, increases your risk of malabsorption. So obviously, like if you're eating these every single day, multiple times a day, since there's so little, there's literally 0 micronutrients in them, that you're just going to be eating calories with no nutrients. and you're going to have like 1,000 calories worth of food that didn't have any nutrients on the side. And that's just going to risk malabsorption. My alternative for refined grains, drum roll, sweet potatoes. Guys, sweet potatoes, number one, they're the complex carbohydrate, which means they get digested at a sustainable pace. So you have sustained energy. Okay. So they're not spiking your blood sugar and then crashing your energy. So sweet potatoes, they're also loaded with micronutrients, loaded with vitamins, super good for you. Magnesium, vitamin A, stuff like that. They're extremely micronutrient dense. And my favorite part about these is they taste so good. Guys, all I do for my sweet potatoes is I get a baking sheet, I chop them up into like fry sizes, put a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt on it, throw it in the oven, 400 degrees, boom, bake it, boom. I have healthy, homemade French fries. All right, now moving on to number 2, energy drinks. The worst part about energy drinks is that they are loaded with caffeine. Now, caffeine isn't necessarily the problem. It's when these drinks, energy drinks like Monster, Celsius, Red Bull, it's when they're consumed. Because most people consume them either during their ride or after their ride when they feel like they have no energy. And the problem with that is you can consume it so close to bedtime and it pretty much kills, like it messes with your melatonin so much and it destroys your sleep quality. Like it literally destroys your ability to get deep sleep, which is one of the most important things for cyclists, because that's when you recover, you repair, and you rebuild. And you need deep sleep. And drinking these energy drinks late at night is going to have caffeine in your system when you're trying to go to bed. And even though you can fall asleep, that doesn't mean you're getting deep sleep. On top of that, they're loaded with artificial sweeteners. For example, there's sucralose in a lot of them, and then most of the other ones I don't even know how to pronounce. But similar to refined grains, these artificial sweeteners disrupt your gut, which means you are able to absorb less of the nutrients than you're eating. Obviously, that's not good for cyclists. On top of that, the vitamins in energy drinks are all synthetic and lab made. And what that means is they're not the natural forms of the vitamins, which means they aren't even absorbed in your body. So even though it says it has, this amount of vitamin B, you're not absorbing it. So it's 0 vitamin B. And then finally, they offer 0 nutritional support. Like I just said, all the vitamins aren't even absorbed. And besides the vitamins, there's no micronutrients in it. So my alternative to energy drinks is pomegranate juice. Pomegranate juice is one of my favorite things. It's loaded with anti-inflammatories, polyphenols. It boosts your blood flow by boosting nitric oxide, and it is amazing for post-ride. It helps you recover. All I do is drink 8 ounces, and the anti-inflammatories aren't strong enough to take away the good inflammation that you get after a workout. So it is perfect for a post-ride drink to have, and it's not bad in any way. It's just going to help you. And it's also a great source of carbohydrates to replace your glycogen after your ride. Third, moving on to protein bars. Guys, this is a controversial one because protein bars are seen as a very healthy choice, but they're actually not. So the first thing with protein bars is that the quality of protein is absolutely terrible. A lot of the protein is either like plant-based protein, soy protein, but they're protein isolates that are poorly absorbed by your gut. And we know what that means. If your gut poorly absorbs it, that means you don't get all the protein. So even though this protein bar might have 20 grams of protein, your gut may only absorb 5 grams of that protein, which is nothing. And that's not going to help you recover at all. And then on top of that, it's loaded with artificial sweeteners and stuff like that. So it's going to destroy your gut. It's going to hurt your gut, and your ability to absorb nutrients is going to get destroyed. There's kind of a reoccurring theme across all these foods. They all hurt your gut and they lower your ability to absorb key nutrients that you need as a cyclist. They're not just a recommendation. You need these to function at a high level. Third, protein bars blunt glycogen resynthesis. And if there's one thing that all cyclists know, it's that carbs are good. And protein bars are normally very low carb, which is not good because if you are only having a protein bar after your workout, you're getting no carbs, which doesn't refill your glycogen at all, and you're getting low quality protein, so you're pretty much getting nothing. And then finally, they're marketed as healthy. Protein bars are the opposite of healthy. They are literally just look at the ingredients on the back of them. It's insane. You can't pronounce half of them. A protein bar should be a couple ingredients, and it should have actually bioavailable protein for your body that your body can use. So what is my healthy alternative? My healthy alternative is Parmigiano Reggiano. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but this is cheese, and this cheese has bioavailable protein. Only 50 grams is right around 25 grams of protein, so a super small amount for a really good amount of protein. And on top of that, it's got healthy fats and it's got carbs in it, a good ratio. But this should not replace a meal. This is just a protein bar. This is just a snack. This is a replacement to protein bars. But anyways, these are loaded with calcium and other electrolytes, and it's actually going to stimulate the recovery and kickstart the recovery process after your ride, and it is not going to destroy your gut. Now, fourth, moving on to ultra processed cooking oils. First off, these are things like canola oil and other seed oils, and they are extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids. Now, the problem isn't consuming omega-6 fatty acids. That is a necessary nutrient for your body. The problem is that with the modern US diet, seed oils have become so common. They're almost in every single thing possible that they estimate that Americans are consuming 10 to 20 times the recommended amount of omega-6 acid, which is terrible. Like, I'm pretty sure, actually not I'm pretty sure, I am confident that there was a study that came out that showed that 20 to 40% of an average American's calories from that day just come from seed oils alone. Literally, that oil in that thing is 20 to 40% of the average US American's caloric consumption in a day, which, first of all, is disgusting and it's bad for you. First off, it's bad for you because it damages your mitochondria. And guys, your mitochondria, you learn this in like 6th grade. It's like the powerhouse of all cells. It is literally the engine that powers endurance in your body. This is crucial for cyclists. And if you're damaging your mitochondria, you're going to be a bad cyclist. Now, on top of this, seed oils cause hormonal imbalance. This is because you're consuming so much omega-6 in relation to omega-3s, and your ratio is blown out of proportion so much that it's killing your testosterone, it's killing your recovery, and it's causing a ton of systemic inflammation, which is just low-grade chronic inflammation, which isn't good for you because your cells are going to be inflamed. And what happens when your cells are inflamed is that they're going to have problems getting all the necessary nutrients into them because they're inflamed and they have a outer layer of inflammation, and those nutrients are going to struggle to get into them. So what are the alternatives? First of all, stop eating processed food from places like gas stations and stuff. Just don't eat seed oils. But if you're cooking at home and you need cooking oils, butter, ghee, or tallow, these are all natural animal fats that have saturated fat that is extremely beneficial for your hormonal health, and it's going to help you actually get your hormones in check so your omega-6 to omega-3 ratio isn't completely cooked. Now, the final one, alcohol. Guys, alcohol, you should know this. Even the government says it. It's straight up poison. Your body, right when you put it into your body stops everything else and focuses on getting rid of that alcohol, which is terrible for your body. So let's go over some of the main things. First of all, alcohol. If you have alcohol the night after or the day after, the day of a workout or a hard ride, in studies it's shown to reduce your muscle protein synthesis by 37%, even when consumed with protein. So already you're missing out on 40% of your muscle protein synthesis. And this is from just a little bit of alcohol. This alcohol was only like, or the study was not that much. It was like not even over, like they could still legally drive because of how low the levels were in their blood. And it blunted their NPS by 40%. Okay, so also on top of that, everybody knows this, but alcohol destroys your sleep. It disrupts REM and your deep sleep cycles for multiple days following when you drink it. So don't drink that. Sleep is got to be the number one most important thing for cyclists because we're doing so much volume, so much work on the bike, and your body needs to be able to recover, repair, and rebuild. And it does that when you're sleeping. And if you cook your sleep, you cook your recovery, which means you cook your gains. All right, and then on top of that, it dehydrates you and flushes out key electrolytes. I mean, guys, most of you probably aren't in check with your electrolytes. And when you're drinking alcohol, that just cooks them even more. So then you're going to be in a state of dehydration for multiple hours to days to come until you finally eat something that has electrolytes in it, which you're probably still not. And you guys are probably all deficient in electrolytes, which is destroying your recovery. And then finally, alcohol raises cortisol, which is your stress hormone. And when your stress hormone gets raised, there's a direct correlation with testosterone and it lowers your testosterone. So number one is you're getting more cortisol, which messes up your circadian rhythm, it messes up your sleep schedule, it messes up your recovery. And on top of that, you're lowering your testosterone, which is lowering your body's ability to recover, to repair, to rebuild with muscle, and to get better. So what is my alternative to drinking alcohol? Well, it's raw honey. Now, you might be saying, how is raw honey my alternative? Well, most people, what time is it when they're drinking alcohol? It's late at night. And what should you be doing late at night? Probably going to bed. So what you should do is instead of drinking alcohol, get a tablespoon of raw honey, put it in your mouth because that helps your hormones when you sleep. It helps you produce more growth hormone, more luteinizing hormone. And then you're going to go to bed once you get that honey instead of staying up till 5 a.m. drinking on alcohol, maybe not even sleeping at all that night, killing your recovery, killing how your body feels, waking up the next day feeling terrible, not even wanting to get on your bike, and then you're going to have a terrible day, and then you're probably going to mess up your sleep schedule and you're not going to go to bed the next day also until super late, and boom, now you're in a terrible cycle of not recovering, not rebuilding. So that's all 5 foods that are terrible for your recovery, the top 5 foods to be specific. And here's the deal, guys. Recovery is the real secret weapon in cycling. Most guys think it's about more watts or who has the better bike, the better gear. But the guys dominating group rides and winning all the races, they're recovering faster than you. Like, guys, let's imagine Tadej Pogačar. There's probably somebody out there that can destroy Tadej in a one-day race, but put him in the Tour de France and Tadej is going to poop on them. And that's because it's 21 days back to back to back. Tadej's body is so good at recovering that he can show up day after day after day and put out these monstrous efforts and not die and not get tired and still keep going. So that's the difference between you guys and Tadej. So these 5 foods are literally in almost every cyclist routine, and they're all silently holding you back. You may not think that they're holding you back, and you may not feel like that, but they are. And what happens is you're not adapting, you stay sore, and your legs always feel one step behind. And the day I cut these out and replace them with clean alternatives that actually fuel my body and give me the nutrients I need to perform is the day my legs started coming back even faster. They would recover in 24 hours. My group rides turned into just zone 2 for me. I was winning back to back to back races. And if you guys are stuck or sore or you're just not seeing gains, I would say that this is the first fix to incorporate into your life. Cut these foods and actually start fueling for recovery, and you will start dominating in your rides, in your races, in your training. But anyways, that's it for the video. I hope you guys liked it. Like I said in the beginning, if you actually apply these, you will see a huge difference and you will start feeling way better. So Drop a like if this helped. Subscribe for more cycling performance tips like this. And if you guys have anything to say, any questions, don't be afraid to leave a comment. I will respond to them. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one.